Welcome to the December 2012 edition of IMTSTV. I'm your host, Penny Brown, and this is our year-end review. 2012 was a fantastic year for manufacturing as well as for IMTS, which attracted more than 100,000 visitors to McCormick Place in Chicago. It was a great show of strength for the industry, which was heralded as leading the economic recovery. And it's hoped that that strength can carry over into 2013. Another big event that happened this fall was the Global Forecasting and Marketing Conference, which drew more than 200 manufacturing professionals to St. Louis to get tips and tricks on marketing and to hear what lies ahead for the industry, both domestically and worldwide. We interviewed two of the conference speakers, Richard Aboulafia of the Teal Group and Angel Martinez of Caterpillar, each of whom gave us their outlook for the industry as well as the challenges that lie ahead.
Good morning or good afternoon. It's time for another episode of IMTS TV, and as you can imagine, we're in St. Louis, beneath the Gateway Arch for the Global Forecasting and Marketing Conference that AMT puts on every year. We're going to be talking with several of the visitors to the Global Forecasting Conference, some of the presenters, and we'll give you a picture of what the GFMC is here in St. Louis, late October 2012.
Hi, this is Pat McGibbon, Vice President of Strategic Information and Research with AMT, and my friend Richard Aboulafia from the Teal Group, and we're here in St. Louis where the World Series is not happening this week. It's end of October, forecasting conference, and Richard's speaking to a group of us here today. I'm just going to get a chance here to ask him some questions off the stage that the whole membership and our friends in the IMTS world will be interested in hearing about. Richard, let's start with the fiscal cliff. There's a lot of defense contractors and aerospace companies who've already had to tell some of their staff that they may be finding themselves getting a pink slip within 60 days because the deadline on 23rd. Let's say that instead of it happening or them solving it, they go with what is now the common thought about the process, that this Congress will punt and vote in a 9-month continuance going out to September. How's that going to affect the defense contractors and the aerospace companies that are relying on government contracts to keep their people employed and moving forward with product?
Well, it's a glass half empty, glass half full thing, of course. No one wants a continuing resolution unless, of course, the alternative is the sequestration process. Nobody wants that at all. We've had to live before with continuing resolutions. It complicates things, especially for new programs that need care and feeding at the initial stage of their ramp-up. There are very few new programs that really need that sort of attention, so steady state funding would not be the end of the world. There would also be a kind of relief that if we can put it off for another 6 or 9 or whatever months, then maybe we can deal with this ridiculous dead man switch.
Oh. Well, one of the things that we've seen looking at our members and where their orders have been coming from is that the 787 being moved to Charleston, South Carolina for assembly and production has created a nice cluster of aerospace companies who tend to have a different type of product mix than what we usually sell into the Southeast. Now that cluster, is it homegrown? Has Boeing forced their vendors and suppliers to move operations to that part of the world?
Well, it's a complicated picture with the 787, partly because it's kind of a virtual manufacturing facility. So much of the product has been outsourced that you're really seeing all the big chunks and pieces come from other places, most notably Japan, Italy, Wichita, and wherever else. What they're doing in Charleston is putting together one of the versions, the Dash 9 version, as well as some of the Dash 8s. We're not really sure what the ultimate mix will be that's built there. But inevitably, around any kind of new production facility, you're going to have something that does generate organically, just because of the logistics of it all, and just because, frankly, the American South is a really good place to do business from a manufacturing standpoint. I think we see this across the board in many industries. So I guess you could call this organic, but it's easy to overstate it when so much of the composition of this jet is actually coming from other places.
Okay. Just to demonstrate, I do watch you on TV occasionally. You've said just in the last 3 to 4 months that the rotor aircraft part of the industry is one of the ones that's most exciting, has the best opportunities regardless of what happens with federal funding. Are you still feeling positive about that part of the aerospace market?
There's absolutely still some strong drivers in place. One is the need for fleet recapitalization because of all the, helicopters that have been badly damaged in Iraq and Afghanistan. That's going to continue for another 4 or 5 years at least, with big programs going full throttle, like the Black Hawk Mike program, UH-60M, the V-22, the CH-47F, the Apache Block 3, a bunch of these doing really well. The other big driver is, of course, the very high price of oil and gas that has necessitated a significant expansion of fleets that are involved in that, especially the large helicopters such as the Super Puma S-92, products like that from Eurocopter and Sikorsky, as well as Augusta Westland's product range. Everyone's eager to get into the oil and gas biz because there's a lot of cash coming in there.
Now, taking a look at the aerospace markets and industry over the globe, and then more specifically about the United States, are you bullish or bearish about where things are going from here out to 2014?
Reasonably bullish. You look at the jetliner business, it's heavily driven by two factors. One is high fuel prices that increase the need to re-equip with newer jets. The other is the arrival of a lot of cash, and that's because people can get it cheap, and that's not going to change through 2014. And people have nowhere else to park it, and that's not going to change through 2014. And as a result, financing deliveries to the carriers who need these jets to replace older, less efficient jets, those drivers are still with us. So the ramp up's going to continue through 2014.
Any final insights you want to share with us? Maybe some of the comments you're about to share with the 238 members that you'll be posing questions to you in about a half an hour. Any final insights?
Well, my limited knowledge of the world heavily for the past 25 years has been aerospace.
Yes.
But from what I can tell, this is the healthiest part of the world economy. I don't think anything is going to change that. I almost feel like we're overdue for a bit of karmic justice because we're the one industry that really powered through the world economic downturn. But nevertheless, you look at it, if we get through this, and I think we will, then we're the industry that was protected from the worst storm ever, and we still have good potential for long-term growth.
Well, that wraps it up from here, St. Louis, Missouri, Global Forecasting Conference with my friend Richard Aboulafia and myself, Pat McGibbon. See you next time.
One of the keynote speakers here at the Global Forecasting and Marketing Conference was Angel Martinez of Caterpillar, who talked about some of the future of U.S. manufacturing. How are you today, Angel?
Very well. How about you, Penny?
I'm doing great. So there were a few things you hit on in your presentation that were really interesting, and one of them was tax reform. Can you kind of talk about what needs to happen with that to sort of boost U.S. manufacturing?
Well, the current tax system creates a number of inefficiencies in the way we allocate capital around the world, and especially in the U.S. We have a corporate tax rate, and we also have a worldwide tax system. This does not look like the rest of the industrialized world, and that needs to change for us to be competitive.
Now, another interesting topic you discussed was infrastructure. How could improving U.S. infrastructure help out U.S. manufacturing?
Well, number one, it would create a lot of jobs in the heavy construction industry. And that would also give us better efficiency in the way that we move products to and from the United States. We import a lot of goods, but we're a company that exports about 2/3 of our manufacturing production from the U.S. To other countries. It is crucial that we have the right infrastructure to really be successful long term. If you look at the age of our infrastructure, we have really underinvested for the past 40 years. Since 1980 until today, road usage has increased by about 95%, but we have only increased capacity by 7%. So that is alarming.
Something else you had touched on a little bit was workforce development and maybe promoting this to students instead of pushing all of them toward four-year schools. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, a skilled workforce is crucial because even if we fix tax and trade and infrastructure in the energy issues that we have in this country, if we don't have that skilled workforce to rely on, we're not going to be successful. Our products are more complex and higher tech than they were a decade ago. And it really takes highly skilled people to assemble those products and service them in the field. We need to make sure that we have a vocational path where students can go to a community college that is more towards their inclination and their skills, and they can continue developing those skills in the workplace.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us. It was really interesting to hear your insights.
My pleasure.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Rethink, refocus, reinvent, redefine convention. At the MFG meeting, discuss what matters most to our industry. Listen to speakers that educate and inform. Learn techniques to improve business practices. Experience networking opportunities like no other. It all happens at the MFG meeting, March 5th through 8th, 2013, in Waikiloa, Hawaii. The MFG meeting is brought to you by NTMA, PMA, and AMT. For more information, visit themfgmeeting.com.
A big topic of discussion around the industry is how the U.S. will stay competitive in manufacturing by appealing to a younger generation. Joe Warndorf is one of those students with an interest in manufacturing, and he came to AMT headquarters to show us how he uses a 3D printer. Joe Warndorf is an 8th grade student at Harmony High School in Hamilton, Virginia, and he has a very interesting hobby of 3D printing. How are you today, Joe?
I'm well. How about you?
I'm doing good. So you're going to show us how this machine works. First of all, tell us, what is this?
It's a 3D printer. It uses CAD software, and it's very cool. It uses a raft base to stabilize the whole structure being built. Right now being built is a 3D-dimensional cube, well, at least the outside of a 3-dimensional cube that I made. It uses layering by lines, and each go-around it puts one layer, and then the bottom part moves down and it puts another layer, and over time the plastics will build up, making whatever you want.
So tell us, it looks like there's some filament down in here. What kind of material is used to make these parts?
2 plastics are used. One plastic is a PLA plastic. It dissolves in water, allowing it to be a great use for a base, this raft, the black raft right here, and any support structures, and an ABS, which is a tough material used for making the actual structure.
So I understand this part is actually one that you designed. What else have you made on this?
We have made a backgammon game piece. We found this game in my grandpa's old box of games, and it had a missing piece in it. So we just decided to make one, and we actually made it last week.
Very cool. So I understand this is actually a part that was made on the printer too. Tell us about that.
This is just a great example for showing the detailed lines of it. It can make anything it can also make anything with the use line, not necessarily straight. It also gets very fine detailing.
How long does it take to make a part on one of these?
For this one, it can take up to 6 hours, even more, depending on how complex the part is. The backgammon piece only took about 32 minutes, and that's a pretty reasonable piece.
That's really neat. So I know school, career, all that kind of a ways off for you. Are you thinking about maybe this is somehow getting involved in your career one day?
I want to be an aerospace engineer, and so this is just another boost for that for me. And it's just a great hobby. It's really fun.
So thank you so much for coming in here today to show this to us.
Thank you, too.
This has been Penny Brown with IMTS TV. Doug Woods isn't just the president of AMT, he's also an avid marathon runner, and he issued an interesting challenge to his staff. Anyone who would train and compete in the Disney Marathon would get an all-expenses-paid trip to Orlando. During IMTS, those that participated went on a morning run through the aisles of McCormick Place, and we caught it on tape. Check it out.
All right, AMT marathon team, take your marks. Set. Move.
Start.
We're running around South Hall here, Saturday morning, last day of IMTS, and the AMT crew really likes to stay in shape. It's the only way we can work hard enough to bring you IMTS every year. Every other year.
You got to get in and out of the water stations. This is critical. This is a key part of the race right here. Make sure you get your Gatorade, make sure you get your water, make sure you put your water in your hair if you're hot, not your Gatorade. And make sure you drink before you start running again. And put your cup in the garbage so as not to litter. That's the key.
You got it, guys. You got this.
So here's your next tip. You want to figure out how much to drink, you got to know how much you sweat. So obviously it varies on temperature, but assume kind of a middle 60, 70, 80 degree temperature might be your day in Florida. So get up in the morning someday when it's about that. Before you put any clothes on, step on the scale, figure out your weight. Go out, put your stuff on, go for a 1 hour run. Don't eat, don't drink. No eating, no drinking, 1 hour run. Come back, clothes off, weigh. That difference in weight is how much water you lost. Figure out how much you need to drink by what that is, and that's about what you need because it's different for every single person and a little bit different on temperature. So if I'm a day in the 60s, 70s, that's what it'll be down there. Do that, and you know exactly how much to drink.
Cool.
You figure out how many cups to get at every one of the aid stations. Don't drink too much, don't drink too little. And throw in Gatorade, because if you just drink water, then you got a little bit of electrolyte problem. We're good to go. There's your second tip of the day.
Oh, thanks, Deanna. Oh. That's better. Sometimes, you know, you just gotta run like an antelope. Out of control.
One, two, three.
AMT! We put together a team at work. How cool is that? AMT actually put together a marathon team to go and run this race and show everybody that we can walk the walk. Aside from putting on the greatest show on earth, the biggest trade show in the world here at IMTS, this is no Mickey Mouse team. AMT has put together one of the most fierce, elite running squads you've ever seen. So make sure to tune in to IMTS.com in January of 2013 to catch all the action. We'll see you there.
Part of our recap from 2012 is looking at some of the headlines making news around the manufacturing industry. And here to tell us about it is Ian Stringer. How are you today, Ian?
Good, thanks, Penny.
All right, so give us a breakdown of some of the headlines.
Sure, I'd be glad to. In the wake of the near financial collapse of 2008 and 2009, the United States has experienced a manufacturing renaissance over the past 3 to 4 years. Many of the indicators that we use to track the health of the manufacturing sector support this claim. Durable goods orders are up nearly 60%, and capacity utilization has climbed past the 75% marker, indicating that manufacturing facilities are producing at maximum effective capacity. This is all translated into higher profits for manufacturers that have approached record levels this year. Unfortunately, for many Americans, the health of the manufacturing sector hasn't helped improve the job situation. On the other hand, labor markets tend to lag the economy, and the small recent uptick in unemployment is likely a result of people entering the workforce, which is a positive sign. Despite the lackluster employment numbers, consumer sentiment is at a 5-year high. If only we can continue this optimism, the labor situation will improve with increased consumer spending. While overall levels of manufacturing performance are good, there are signs of slowing. For example, the overall trajectory of durable goods orders and capacity utilization has started to flatten over the most recent months. This flattening indicates that the rate of growth is decelerating. In fact, October durable goods orders were down slightly from their peak recorded in July. Also, the ISM's latest Purchasing Managers Index for manufacturing came in at just under 50%, which indicates the sector contracted in November following 2 months of modest expansion. Unfortunately, we are unlikely to see a dramatic decline in manufacturing activity unless Congress fails to settle on a compromise to address the fiscal cliff. Moreover, it is likely the uncertainty surrounding the fiscal cliff will stunt any additional manufacturing expansion. Manufacturers are sitting on lots of cash related to record profits, yet they are generally unwilling to spend that cash until the uncertainty about the tax landscape for next year is settled. There are a number of industries that are likely to outperform despite general slowing. Automotive, aerospace, agriculture, mining, and construction, and contract machining are 4 customer industries expected to continue to do well. In automotive, there is expected to be 6 to 12 new engine lines that will go live in 2013 to 2015 timeframe. For aerospace, keep an eye on the activity in the Northwest and Northwest Mexico, as is becoming a key element in the aerospace parts supply chain, manufacturing high-quality, high-precision parts. Agriculture, mining, and construction are expected to remain strong, spurred on by the long-awaited pickup in home building, increases in agricultural commodity prices, and the further development of the natural gas extraction industry in the United States. Job shops who operate in the fabricated metal products industry group will benefit by continued reshoring and the flight to quality. The group's capacity utilization rate currently sits at 83%, well above the new normal 75% marker, signifying these manufacturers should be reaching out, looking for more machines to improve their total capacity. Finally, manufacturing technology orders are up over 5% through September 2012 as compared to the same period last year. The level of equipment purchasing is at record levels, which topped $667 million in September, recording the largest month since 1998. 2012 will likely turn in our 3rd year of positive growth, and AMT's industry forecasters expect another year of positive, yet single-digit growth for 2013.
Thank you for that, Ian.
You're welcome.
We'll be right back.
The best way to plan your visit to IMTS 2014 is to first visit IMTS.com. It's the optimum way to make the most of your stay, driving you to all the advanced technology and processes you've come to see. The new features at IMTS.com include an interactive exhibitor directory and floor plan to easily pinpoint exhibitor locations. The IMTS.com online exhibitor showrooms have complete information on each of the 1,200 exhibitors. Customize your IMTS itinerary with the My Show floor plan. Here, you can create a custom list of companies that are exhibiting at IMTS 2014. Make notes on those exhibitors and print a highlighted floor plan to help you make the most of your time at IMTS. Plus, your agenda will also be accessible on kiosks throughout the show. The international section has everything on visas, registration, and representative offices around the world. Add IMTS to your Outlook calendar. Arrange your visit through Trip Assistance and pre-plan your tour through My Show. IMTS.com is your ticket to a more efficiently planned, more enjoyable visit to IMTS 2014. Be there.
The success of IMTS 2012 wouldn't have been possible without you, and the IMTS staff would like to thank you with a sincere holiday greeting. So here are their wishes for a safe, happy, peaceful, and joyous holiday season from the IMTS staff. Thanks for tuning in today. We hope that 2012 was a fantastic year for you and that great things lie ahead for you in 2013. Don't forget to come back and check in on IMTS TV. We'll be bringing you plenty of excitement throughout the year. For IMTS TV, this is your host, Penny Brown.